Alright guys, today we're looking at my most expensive stove yet. This is the Pomoly stainless steel Dweller Max stove. They sent it to me to review. We're just gonna set it up at the edge of this tarp and see if it will heat up the whole space. It's such a pretty stove. Let's just get rid of that. It's stuffed full of all these chimney pieces. End cap, damper. It also has an ashtray at the bottom with extra pieces, it looks like, and an extra stove with an extra chimney gasket. I think that's what that is. That's cool. It's got 3 legs, 1 big one for the front, 2 small ones for the back. And then here is the main air intake. This comes up underneath the stove. We'll keep that open for now. One of the best changes they made with the Dweller Max is the stovepipe goes inside of this. With the other ones, the stovepipe fits over top of it, and that just creates creosote problems. But with the Max, it goes in correctly. It comes with a lot of stovepipe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pieces of stovepipe. Yes, I am.
The cooking game?
Yeah. That's the first one I've actually played at.
The fire taxi.
Hello.
Do you want to light it, kiddo?
Yeah, I do the last one.
Right there.
Smack you with the king. Yeah.
Maybe I'll light it.
Okay, so we got air intake on
I'm
the top
disappointed.
and down here on the bottom. Ooh, it's just starting to rain now too. Perfect timing.
Okay. Wow.
Now it's starting to smoke a lot now. Oh, the birch bark's catching. This is our first time burning this stove, so we'll find out what it likes and what it doesn't like. And right now it's getting wet. Yeah, we'll find out how good this stove is, yeah.
Yeah. Just by the looks, it looks pretty sturdy.
Oh, it's solid. It's a very solid, sturdy stove, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Now this is the biggest of their Dweller lineup, and Jay behind you is snoring. Oh, I woke him up.
And it is pouring.
Yeah, it's raining pretty good right now. I hope you guys can hear that on the tarp. I love that sound. We got 3 stove huts set up behind you, or behind me. Over in this one over here, I have the Traveler stove by Pomoly.
And then we have...
And I don't have stoves set up in these 2 yet, but...
And then, oh, wheat.
It's easy to close, huh?
Yeah.
It's a nice handle, but
It's a
I
really
wonder
good
how hot
quality.
this handle's gonna get.
And I wonder how hot the...
Once the fire gets going, you definitely don't want to use that with your hand. You'd want to use a stick like that. And then it's gonna be hard to close it.
Though.
Maybe, we'll find out. I mean, that was kind of easy. That wasn't that hard. It's starting to take off now. We put more birch bark in it. Now with the door shut, you cannot pull the tray out. The door keeps it in place.
Yeah.
And makes it so you can't pull it out with the door shut. I got it going.
They did a really good job designing this.
I love the open face. This is the coolest part of the stove. It's like a fireplace for your tent. It's really cool.
And you can like see through it. I like that. Look at that masterpiece.
Yeah, it's a beautiful stove.
Wait. Guys, I'm holding it.
Oh, that's gotta be burning your hands.
No, it's not. The fire never bothered me anyway.
It's pretty tall. That's up there.
Papa.
Oh, you
Stop
woke him up.
snoring.
That's beautiful. That's cool. That's a cool fire. And we'll check back with you a little later. Maybe we'll cook something on it or heat up some water for coffee. Bagels in the morning. Bagels in the morning, coffee in the morning. I opened the door to put some wood in there, and I think a coal fell down behind this tray, and I couldn't shut the door with the tray in there. So I ended up grabbing the tray, burned myself once, okay? And then I tried to close the door wouldn't close again, so I grabbed the tray for a second time, and I really burned all 3 of these fingers bad. So burn count is up to 2 already. Can't be a stove video without a burn count, right? And my fingers hurt, all 3 of them. I currently have the tray out, which is letting a ton of air into it and burning it really hot. And I do see some coals in the bottom, so I think one might have fallen down behind this.
Can I go?
Crazy. Are you sure? Cause
Yeah,
all right, first impressions of the stainless steel Dweller Max from Pomoly. This stove is really cool. I haven't used it in a hot tent. Right now we're just underneath the hammock hot tent set up like a tarp. So there's like a little fireplace right in our campsite. It was pretty cool. I really like this really big glass window. It makes it feel like you have a fire right in front of you. Where this is gonna come in handy is if we're camping somewhere without a fire pit, or when it's really windy, like last night it was really windy and the smoke from the fire was just outrageous, blowing right at us. If we were just using this, the smoke was going up 10 feet and then away from us, so there would have been no smoke in our faces. So that's another cool thing about this stove. We can't wait to use it in a hot tent and see how well it does in there. One thing I don't like, when you open the door, since it's an open front wood stove, it has a tendency to let the fire come out and a little bit of smoke as well. Maybe you can tune that in to where it doesn't happen so often, but I like the big cooking area on the top. Right now we have a teapot and a cooking pot. We're cooking some bacon and boiling some water for coffee. I like how they changed the design of the pipe with the Max, how the pipe goes into the exhaust port that goes into the stove. So when creosote drips down the stove, it goes into the stove, or when creosote drips down the pipe, it goes into the stove instead of outside of the pipe and then down to the outside of your stove or tent. So I like how they changed the design of the pipe after the smaller ones where the pipe goes on the outside. I just don't like that design. So overall, I really like this stove. I cannot wait to use it in an actual tent and all winter long. So first impressions, it's pretty cool. It was finicky at first. I really had to get used to how it burned and opening it up safely and all that. If you can see how the coals are kind of right against the door, so when you open it up, you know what? Let's show you opening it up with coals there. Can you see the ground, Billy? Like down here. So when you see coals, if there's coals by the door, they will fall out. So you got to be careful with that. The burn chamber, the burn box is, ow, that's hot. I didn't burn myself, but that was hot. Still burn count 2. Ow. Yeah, okay, that was hot. That I didn't touch it, but that was really hot. I don't know what I was saying because I got hot. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so coals can fall out the front. Remy, stay. That's what I was saying. The burn chamber isn't that big, but it kicks off so much heat, you don't need a lot of wood in there, and it's really nice. I like how the air flows down at the bottom. It's got the ashtray and air intake up here. One thing, when it gets really hot, this is really hard to open and close, and this has a tendency to be really hard to open and close too when it gets hot. And that you might be able to loosen the nuts, the screws on the top here, and the screw that holds this in. That might help with how hard it is to move open and closed. I don't know, I haven't messed around with it. It does come with quite a few spare nuts and bolts and tools to actually take this apart and work with it. So that's another cool thing that Pomoly added with this stove. I do like the stove. I like stoves though, guys. I really enjoy all stoves that I have and I use because stoves are just fun. So thanks for joining me on this one. I'll see you guys next time. I also didn't tell you how much this stove was. For the Max stainless steel version, it's about $450 on Amazon. Yeah, it's a pretty expensive stove. It's not cheap.